I'm Michelle, and I want to tell you a little bit about my formative years living with Dean. We were sweethearts, lovers, and later husband and wife for a lovely 16 years and had a beautiful son, Tristan. Dean and I met when I was barely 18 years old and was finishing high school at École de Charbonnel. He was a grand 20 years old, seemed much wiser, had already finished high school, and was hanging out with musicians in the hippie Yorkville scene of the 60s. These were our formative years. We went off to Europe together, traveling for a year, and spent 6 months wandering through France, Spain, and Morocco in our hippie Volkswagen van. And we spent 6 months living and working in London, England. Dean got himself a job as a courier, delivering documents all over the city, wowing the company manager by telling him he had driven across North America 3 times. When we had been preparing for our grand tour, Dean was told he should take 3 books with us: In Search of the Miraculous by P.D. Ouspensky and All and Everything by Gurdjieff were the 2 books that I do recall. I do remember reading In Search of the Miraculous all across France as we worked our way north to London. Once we were in London, we borrowed every book we could on the mysterious Gurdjieff. Eventually we came into contact with the Nicole group, one of Gurdjieff's English pupils. This pivotal experience got us deeply involved in the worldwide Gurdjieff group, and when we returned home to Canada, we met people who became our elders, and the younger members, like ourselves, became our very best friends. We were part of this unique experimental group and worked on theater exercises from the renowned British director Peter Brook. It was an incredible and fertile time of theater, music, and deep bonding. The other group members were our best friends. They attended our wedding, threw a baby shower for me when I was pregnant with our son Tristan, and looking back, it seems like an idyllic time when we were deeply involved with the teachings of Gurdjieff, the sacred dances known as movements, and the wise elders who led the community. Like a small, tight-knit village, it helped us grow up. Dean had a great love for music. He would spend hours every day in our Kenwood apartment playing scales. His dedication fueled a commitment to our craft and gave us structure to pursue freelance careers. Dean supported me completely when I decided to return to school, getting an animation degree at Sheridan College in Oakville, Ontario. A few years later, I returned the favor as he went to York University to study jazz. Dean was fastidious in the care of his possessions, especially his guitars, and his extensive record collection. He had a beautiful Ramirez guitar, which we had picked up in Spain, several steel-string Martin guitars, and later a flamenco guitar. Each would be put to bed in their humidor cases or hung on the white walls of our apartment, inspired by our stay in Spain. Dean and I married in the backyard of my parents' home after 4 years of living together, and 6 years after that we had our only child, Tristan. These early years were bucolic, a true strengthening of our families. Although Dean's father died before Tristan was born, Dean's mother, Chris Nixon, was an important part of our family, a wonderful woman who loved us all dearly, as we did her. Dean worked in the theater, playing his guitar in the pit orchestra at Stratford and numerous productions in Toronto. My career as a cartoonist and illustrator was doing well. Tristan was our golden child, smart, beautiful, and much loved by everyone. For 6 sweet years, our lives were the epitome of an ideal young family. When that came crashing down, my world cracked. It was very difficult and must have been awful for our little boy. I was angry and hurt and decided to leave Toronto and live with friends from the Gurdjieff work in Halifax. Dean and I maintained a civil relationship, never quarreling about how we brought up Tristan. And Dean was always a loving and caring father, even when he lost hold of taking care of himself. This last Christmas I was in Toronto before heading off on another big travel adventure. I said to Dean, "We'll probably never see each other again." He looked perplexed, and I gave him the excuse, "Well, you know, at our age, I'm going on a long trip, and I don't know when I'll be back in Toronto again." But I knew he didn't have much time left, as he looked so unwell. I thanked him at that point for all the good times, and especially for our beautiful son, and I gave him a farewell hug. Farewell, Dean. We had many beautiful years together. May you rest in peace, and may music play forever in your heart. I wrote this poem for you the night I heard you died. The moon is shining, and palm trees sigh in the midnight breeze when I hear you have let your broken body go. Years ago, holding hands on speeding bikes, we raced through tunnels of arching maples, two lovers on a summer night. And far above an autumn ocean, the dance of northern lights as we set off to discover outer and inner sights. We were the promise, the hope, the movement forward that life briefly bestows on the young. You cradling your guitar, serenading the grim guardia until they warmed and smiled. Your slim fingers, laddered scales that beat a rhythm for our new life. And weren't we strong as the Trinity we became when our son was born? His joy centering our hearts, his presence spinning purpose and direction. Only now can I see how you never shared the weight of your sorrow, and no one but you was burdened by the indignity of your fall. Farewell is a shadow in the heart, so I gasped aloud, hearing you had gone, although our pact broke long ago. Once I gave you everything, and once you smiled at me. Once we skipped like children. Once we were partnered perfectly. But who stops the river from flowing as it sweeps our dreams to the sea? And who holds the wind in his hands to shape new memories? Tonight the moon is sailing above a tropical scene. I bless you for farewell, first love, as the jungle exhales new dreams. Thank you, Dean. I love you dearly.